Good afternoon, students. This is a new chapter, Control and Coordination. So, this is 10th grade and biology. I am Madhavi, biology teacher from BRGS. So, let's start the lesson. What is control and coordination? The working together of various systems in the body in a controlled and well organized manner. So, in the body, the various systems are there, so they work together in a controlled and well organized manner. So, that is called control and coordination. And what is stimulus? Changes in the environment. So, in the environment, we are facing so many changes, right? So, that changes are called stimulus. And response, reaction to such changes. So, here the changes means usually in the form of some movements. So, the changes in the form of movements, for that some reactions will take place. So, those reactions are called response. See here, you can see example of frightened by dog. Okay. So, here stimulus is fear of dog. So, for this stimulus, this boy is running. So, here his boy is responding of this stimulus. What he is responding? He is running away from the dog. So, the fear of dog is stimulus and running away is response. And one more example, that is, here stimulus is sunlight and response is from plants. Okay. So, we will get to know about this, what is stimulus, response, what is the relation between this, we will get to know in detail. Classification of plant movements. Okay. So, in plants there are some movements. So, those movements are classified into two. One is dependent on growth. So, that is also called tropic movements and or directional movements. Okay. And second one is independent of growth. So, that movements are also called nastic movements or non-directional movements. So, what is dependent on growth? So, in this, plants show the growth directly. Okay, so plant grows till some extent, right? So that is called growth. So it shows some growth. That is called tropic movement. That is called dependent on growth also. And what is independent of growth? So some plant shows some movements which is irrespective to the growth. So that is not regarding to growth, but it shows some movements in plants. So those movements are also called nastic movements. Okay. So let's move forward. See. So this is the nastic growth example. The best example of independent growth in plants is touch me not. Okay. So that plant scientific name is Mimosa pudica. Mimosa pudica. So, this is the scientific name of touch me not. This is the best example of independent of growth. And in this type of movements or coordination, no growth is involved. It is actually a quick response to stimuli where the leaves move in response to touch. It is a sensitive plant. When we touch the leaves of the plant, immediately it shrinks and folds the leaves. And for independent of growth, there is another best example is sunflower. Okay. So next. So this is tropic movement. Okay. So nothing but what? The direct movements in plants. Okay. So types of tropic movements. So there are 5 types of tropic movements are there. First one is phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism, hydrotropism, thigmotropism. So what is phototropism? Phototropism is nothing but sunlight. So the plant grow towards or away from the sunlight. So that is called phototropism. What is geotropism? Geotropism is related to gravity. Geo means gravity. Okay. So regarding to soil. So the plant grow towards or away from the. So here the plant can grow towards to the gravity and away from gravity also. So these both come under geotropism. And chemotropism, this is related to chemicals. So the plant grow towards or away from chemicals. And hydrotropism, so the name suggests itself, that is water. So the plant moves towards or away from water. And thigmotropism, this is about touch. So the plant move related to contact, sense or touch. So let us learn about these tropisms in more detail. See here, this is about phototropism. The growth of plant toward or away from a light source is phototropism. Positive phototropism is growth towards a light source, as in the case of shoots. So usually stems grow towards light. So that is called positive phototropism, isn't it? Yes. And what is negative phototropism? Negative means it will grow away from the light. See, negative phototropism is growth away from a light source, as in the case of roots. So for positive phototropism, the example is stem, and for negative phototropism, example is root. This is the second tropism is geotropism. The upward and downward growth of shoots and roots respectively in response to the pull of earth or gravity is geotropism. So the tendency of roots to grow downwards is positive geotropism. Here the roots will shown as positive geotropism, and the tendency of shoots to grow upwards is negative geotropism. So geotropism means nothing but what? The towards soil, or you can say gravity. Okay. So which part of the plant will grow towards gravity? That is root. So that is why the root is a positive geotropism. Okay. And the shoot is negative geotropism. So this is chemotropism. Okay, the growth of movement of a plant or plant part in response to a chemical stimulus is called chemotropism. So when the fertilization occurs in plant, what happens, when the pollen grain come onto the tip of the stigma, then what happens? This pollen tube gets developed because of some chemicals released by ovary, some chemicals released by ovules, you can say. Okay, then what happens? This pollen tube will be released. Okay, see how the pollen this is pollen tube is getting ready, because the pollen should get inside the ovule. Okay, so that is the reason the pollen tube is getting ready, because of some chemicals are released by the ovules. So this is what? Chemotropism. And hydrotropism, movement of a part of a plant in response to water. So obviously root absorb the water. Okay. So root is the positive hydrotropism, isn't it? So in this case the water, so the plant, the part of the plant moves towards towards water, that is positive hydrotropism. The part of a plant which is away from the water, that is negative hydrotropism. See, this is the geotropism example. Here you can see this is negative, shoots are negative geotropism, and the roots are positively geotropic. Okay, and the final thing, the final last one, that is thigmotropism. Thigmotropism, movement of a part of plant in response to contact or support. See, you can see some tendrils here. See, these tendrils are taking support and they'll grow. Okay, so these tendrils are what? Taking support. So such tropism is called thigmotropism. See, here you can go through this. Here movement given in one column. This is stimulus. Stimulus means the change. Okay, and example, this is examples given. For phototropism, that is the stimulus is light, and example is bending of shoot towards light. If you keep one plant in shady area, then after some days you can observe that plant will grow towards the light. Okay, it bends, and you can see all the leaves and the stem, it bends off, those parts of the plant bends towards light. Okay, so that is called phototropism. And geotropism, earth's gravity, bending of roots towards ground. Okay, and chemotropism, chemicals. Here stimulus is what? Chemicals. And what is the example you can give? Growth of pollen tube towards ovule. And hydrotropism, that is water, movement of roots towards groundwater. And thigmotropism, that is stimulus. What is stimulus? Contact, or you can say sense, touch. So these are all come under thigmotropism. And the example is movement of tendril towards support. So thank you for watching. Have a great day. Let us acquire more knowledge by watching this video.
Plants show two different types of movement, one independent of growth and the other dependent on growth. For example, the touch-me-not plant of the mimosa family folds up and droops when touched. The leaves of the sensitive plant move quickly in response to touch, but this movement is not associated with any growth. However, when a seed germinates, the root grows downwards while the stem grows upwards into the air. This movement of a plant is an example of growth. Plant movement during growth of the plant can be directional or non-directional. If movement occurs in the direction of the stimulus, it is known as tropic movement. Environmental triggers such as light or gravity determine the direction of growth of a plant. The most common tropic movements are phototropism and geotropism. Growth towards a stimulus is a positive tropism, while growth away from a stimulus is a negative tropism. Shoots respond by bending towards light, thus showing positive phototropism. They grow away from gravity, thus showing negative geotropism. Roots bend away from light, indicating negative phototropism, and grow towards gravity, indicating positive geotropism. The pea plant climbs up other plants or fences by means of tendrils, which are sensitive to touch. When the plant comes in contact with any support, it entwines itself around the object and clings to it. This is an example of thigmotropism. So, we see that plants respond to stimuli slowly by growing in a particular direction. As this growth is directional, it appears as if the plant is moving. Hydrotropism is another growth response in which the direction is determined by the stimuli of water. Chemotropism is movement caused by chemical stimulus. The growth of pollen tubes towards ovules is an example of this type of tropism. Let's contrast the movement in plants with movement in animals. The movement of a sensitive plant in response to touch is very quick, whereas the movement of a sunflower in response to day or night is quite slow. Growth